Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel Custom Carving and Epoxy UK. Now, excited by the results that we had from the Petri Effect, I wanted to try another quick experiment. I wanted to try nail powders in the epoxy and see what happens. This is the Resin's bubble machine. If you've not got one, we do have a discount code, which is ccukresin, and they are great at getting rid of those bubbles. So for this project, the main difference I'm going to do from the last project with the Petri Effect is add some iridescent blue nail powder to the actual resin itself to see what effect we get. This is the powder I got. I ended up getting it from Timu in the end, and the hope is that it will almost give a bit of a galaxy effect. So I'm going to be using the Let's Resin alcohol inks again and the Sinker White exactly the same. The main difference is I'm going to be adding this powder into the epoxy itself. And as I've said, this isn't a sponsored video, but what I will say is these bubble removal machines are amazing. So easy to use, and they remove those bubbles like a charm. Since I've started using one of these, I've not had virtually any micro bubbles in my epoxy work. So if you're trying to figure out how to get rid of those bubbles, this is probably a great solution. And if you haven't got one yet, but you want one, as I say, resiners.com have been kind enough to give me a discount code, which is CCUK, so that all of you guys can test it for yourselves. And if you're like me, you couldn't afford or have the space for one of those large pressure pots, and that's where this comes in. There's up to 500 ml of epoxy at a time as well. Great for little projects like this, because the worst thing you want is if you get a really cool effect in your pendants or jewellery is micro bubbles everywhere. And as I say, since I've started using this, look at the amount of bubbles, and that's just from 2 ounces. But it's dead straightforward. You literally put the epoxy in, push the button on the top, and when it's finished, all you've got to do is open the latch at the back to release the air, and within a minute you have crystal clear epoxy ready for your project. So out of all the things I've tested so far, this has probably been the most useful. And again, the discount code, if you want to try one, is CCUK. You get money off. The channel gets a little bit of commission sent back. So do me a favor, if you're thinking about getting one of these, use that discount code and it'll benefit you as well as us. I'm just trying to show you here with the camera, but it literally doubles the mass with the amount of bubbles that are in there. So again, it shows you how much trapped air you've got in your resin. And this was just 2 ounces. And for larger mixers, I've also got the dual head mixer, which seems to work quite well, but I just don't use it for these smaller projects. I don't think there's any point. But again, if you've not seen that yet, check out my review on it in my previous videos. I'll link it in the description as well. But look at that. That is from 2 ounces of resin, and it's up to nearly 5 ounces with the amount of bubbles in there. It's just amazing how much air this releases. And now the full 5 minutes has gone, just pulling out the silicone release at the back, and look at those bubbles go down. So again, if you've not got one, really, really good bit of kit. I highly recommend them. Back to the project. This is the iridescent blue powder. I'm going to add some of that into the epoxy itself, and hopefully it's going to create a bit of a galaxy effect. Don't need a lot of it, and hopefully this is lighter than glitter, so it shouldn't just sink to the bottom, which was the thinking behind it. That's all I'm going to add. And now that's mixed up, I decided to actually put it back in the resinous machine because I thought it would thoroughly mix everything by degassing it again. So I just stuck it in there for another 5 minutes, which also gave me time to open up some of the alcohol inks ready for the Petri effect. And just remember, when you open these alcohol inks, always have some kitchen paper around it because as soon as you pull that pin out, you're going to get one or two drops that explode out the top, and you don't want to get alcohol ink everywhere. I've had a few comments saying that people are really struggling with the Petri effect. All I can say is it's worked for me, and I used the Sinker White from Let's Resin as well as the Let's Resin alcohol inks. When I did use my cheaper inks from Timu, it didn't work. So again, try these inks and see if they work. I'll put a link in the description. There we go, and that's now had another 5 minutes in the bubble removal machine, and it's really mixed it up really nicely. So just going to add it to the larger piece of this mold to see what effects we get. Don't forget, guys, use a silicone release spray with your molds. It will keep them shinier for longer. And now for the fun part, dropping the coloured inks. And again, I don't think there's an exact science to this, but I'm just trying to do maybe 3 or 4 drops of colour per pendant, seeing how many I can get in there, starting off with probably a light colour like a yellow like this at the bottom, and then maybe a darker colour towards the top. Then what I do is if I see any spaces where the ink hasn't quite covered, I just go back in with a yellow or a really light colour to cover those up and make sure that the whole piece is covered. Then going in with the Sinker White, 1 drop per colour per pendant. So it's make sure you shake it up as well because that will make those pigments move. And then this is the real fun part where you get to see the inks dancing. Then the key is to just leave it for 20 minutes once you've done this before you come back in with that stir. That will give your resin time to thicken up and hopefully keep the designs in that you actually stir in. So now this is done. Again, it already looks amazing from the back, but now this is done. Just going to leave it for sort of 20 minutes and then come back. And we're back 20 minutes later. Again, I'm hoping we get some really, really cool effects for these. Now it's time for the stir. I'm just going to use a toothpick. And it's important when you do your stir that you don't go too deep because you don't want to scratch the face of your molds. but this is what's going to create that pattern. I don't know if you saw our previous Petri video, but this is what actually creates those sort of lines and design in it. So I always try and start with a lighter color and then pull it through if I'm going to do a circular effect. On this one, I decided to just do a swirl, again, pulling the light color through. This one again, I saw a patch of white, so just trying to bring that round in a circle and coming out at the center. And if you see that stringiness in the resin, that is what you are looking for. That is what's telling you it's ready to be stirred. And do whatever design you want in these, you know, it's up to you. It's going to be your pattern, and hopefully you should be able to see the results at the end. Also, just to let you guys know as well, if you do like any of these pendants, we have now opened our Etsy shop. So if there's any in particular that you like, they should be available for sale in about 2 weeks' time, because I always leave the epoxy to fully harden for at least 2 weeks before I put any items up for sale. Um, but yeah, it's exciting times. Hopefully you like some of the stuff that we're doing. We've got some crazy experiments planned as well with resin over the next few videos. I actually woke up at 3 o'clock this morning with 3 or 4 new video ideas. So I'm looking forward to putting those into practice and seeing if we get some really, really good results. So stay tuned for that. If you haven't already, like and subscribe to the channel, put a comment in, good or bad, you know, it all helps the algorithm, all helps YouTube push these videos out to more people so that this channel and community can keep on growing, which is what we're here for, to keep growing and keep learning from these experiments and seeing what different effects we can come up with epoxy resin. And there we go, swirl's done. Now we've got to wait sort of 24 hours before we come back. Just going to give you a bit of a close-up of these and what they currently look like on the back. And you could already just see on that last one some of this iridescent powder popping through the front. And we're back. It's the next day. You'll see there's a couple with black. Basically, I went over them with a black alcoholic afterwards on some of the ones that I thought would look good with a backing. So these are just some plain bits that I had from some spare resin that I mixed with chameleon powder to back those pendants that we did in the last Petri dish. Bit plain. I might try some mandala art on these and see what that looks like. And I got these weird little holes in the front of this one, which I don't know if it's the mold I'm using, or I don't know if there were some tiny bubbles in there, but it's the first time I've noticed them. Let me know in comments if you know what they are. But again, really nice effect. All this was black mica and chameleon powder. And now the moment we've been waiting for. Now, if you look closely, you can still see the Petri effect in the background, but you get this iridescent blue glitter at the front, which I don't know if you like it or not. I'm in two minds at the moment. Again, same with this one. You can see the Petri effect has worked in the background. Um, but for me, I'm not sure if the blue glitter takes away from it or if it adds to the piece. Let me know your thoughts. And this one was a really, really vibrant flame effect that we managed to get. I know I keep saying we, I should say me. I don't know why I keep saying we, but there we go. Gorgeous little heart here. Now, this is like a purple little galaxy. And you can see the difference that iridescent nail powder has made. And I think it's really cool if you're looking for that galaxy effect. But I'm half and half because for me, the Petri is the beauty in this art. And the glitter is great if you like glitter, but I think it kind of makes you focus on the glitter rather than the Petri in the background. But I suppose we've all got our own taste. And this is the thing. This one looked amazing as well. This was like a planet. And you can see that design. That's from the swirl that you make. So whatever design you want to put in, hopefully with your swirl, um, this is what you'll end up getting. Again, this one looked like a galaxy. This one, for me, definitely looked like a planet. And I hope you're liking the videos. If you've got any suggestions on how we can improve, let me know, and I'll keep on trying to improve them for you as well. We've just gone over 6,000 subscribers as well, which is amazing. If we can get to 10,000 over the next couple of weeks, I will be really, really happy because it just shows that we're growing as a community. Again, this one came out really, really good with those purples. And I think I'm going to try this again with different complementing iridescent powders because I think that was the issue I had is I used the blue for all of them. And actually the blue went really well, I think, with the blue colours and the purples. But actually this is where I think it took away from these flame colours because the blue didn't really match it. Maybe if I did that with a yellow or an orange, it would match them more. See what I mean here? You can see the flames in the background, but the blueness of the glitter almost takes away from the pattern that we've made in the background. And yet on this piece, it looks okay in the darker parts. So let us know what you think. But it was a fun experiment to try, and now we know the results. And here's just a bit of a close-up shot of some of those pieces. And I think I'm going to be investing in a macro lens to get you guys some real detailed shots. But once again, thanks for watching the video. Appreciate everybody being here. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.